The stars were quiet, just like every night in deep space. A slow-moving ship floated through the darkness, its engines weak, its hull old and scratched. To most, it looked like a transport ship, no weapons, no escorts, no danger. Just one small, human ship, alone near a rich alien trade route. From a distance, the pirate raiders watched silently. "Is that it?" one of them asked, narrowing his eyes through the scanner. "Looks like a junk freighter," replied the captain, a tall reptilian creature named Vorak. His voice was rough, like gravel scraping metal. "No escort, no defense, easy kill." The crew laughed. They had raided many ships, some fast, some dangerous, but this one looked like a gift. Alone, weak, human. "Lock onto it," Vorak ordered. "Let's take everything. If the pilot resists, space him." Their ships began moving, in like wolves circling prey. Engines hummed, scanners locked. They expected the usual panic, a distress call, maybe a small chase. But what they got was strange. The human ship suddenly broadcast a signal. It wasn't a call for help. It wasn't even a message of surrender. It was just one sentence. "Turn around or you will not return." The raiders blinked. A warning? From a transport ship. "What is this?" hissed Vorak. "They're bluffing. No weapons detected," his technician confirmed. "The ship is unarmed." "Then fire a warning." "Shot. Let's make them scream." One of the raider ships fired a low-power plasma bolt. It hit the human ship's hull and bounced off. The energy scattered like it had hit a mirror. "What?" the technician gasped. "Fire again." Vorak shouted. A second blast. Same result. The plasma vanished like smoke in wind. Inside the human ship, no one responded. It didn't move, didn't fire, didn't react. "Scan the ship again." Vorak barked. "Still unarmed," the tech replied, confusion in his voice. "But something's wrong. There's interference. I can't get a full read. It's like the ship is flickering." "Flickering?" Vorak growled. "Almost like it's here and not here." Then one of the raider ships exploded. No warning. No beam, no missile. Just silence, then fire, the crew screamed. "Ship 9 is gone. No trace. Check for mines. None detected." Was it a self-destruct? Negative. It was attacked. But by who? Still only one ship. On radar, just the human one. Panic began to spread through the raiders. Vorak slammed his fist down. "Form a perimeter. Surround the target." The remaining ships moved to circle the human vessel. They pointed weapons. They activated shields. Yet the old human ship just floated, slow and calm, like nothing had happened. "I don't like this," muttered one of Vorak's lieutenants. "It's like a trap." "A trap for us?" Vorak scoffed. "One ship cannot trap 12. But then another raider ship disappeared, gone in a flash. No impact, no sound. This time the others saw something. A shadow. A blur in the dark. Fast. Like lightning. It hit and vanished. "There's something out there," shouted a crewman. "Cloaked ships, maybe." "No, there are no engine trails. No heat signatures," said the technician, fear growing in his voice. "It's like something is moving between space and not space." Vorak felt the first drop of fear. "Retreat," he ordered. "Pull back to safe distance." But it was too late. One by one, their systems began to shut down. Lights flickered, shields dropped, weapons locked themselves. Screens went dark. "Something's hacking us. I can't control the ship." "Shut it down, reboot." Screens filled. The comms. Another ship exploded. And still, the human ship said nothing. Then came a voice. Not a scream, not a threat. Just calm, cold words. "You had your chance. Who is this?" Vorak shouted into his comms. "Show yourself, coward." "I am Captain Rena Cole," the voice replied. "You have entered restricted human territory. You attacked without warning. You tried to kill my crew. Vorak's eyes narrowed. Your crew? There's only one ship. You were told to turn around. Captain Cole said. Now, you learn what happens when you don't. Suddenly, space shimmered behind the human vessel. Light bent unnaturally. It twisted, bent, and split open like fabric tearing. From the tier, ships emerged silent, black, fast. Dozens of them. They had no engines, no visible weapons. But their design was terrifying, sharp, clean, deadly. New contacts 20, no 30 ships, shouted a raider. Where did they come from? They weren't cloaked. They were folded. Vorak's mouth opened slightly. Folded ships? That was impossible. The tech was theoretical, too dangerous, too unstable. Yet here they were. Captain Cole spoke again. You attacked a trap ship. We let you find it. We let you fire. We waited. Why? Vorak spat. Why bait us? To send a message. She said, you've raided our colonies for too long. You stole our people, killed our children. Now we answer. The raider ships tried to flee. Engines roared, lights flared. The Echo-class human warships moved like shadows, striking silently. They didn't destroy, they disabled. Precision hits. Power cores cut. Weapons frozen. Engines dead. The raiders were helpless. Vorak looked around. What are these ships? They're called Echo-class, Cole replied. Designed for silent war. You didn't see them because they weren't in your space. They were beside it. Beside? In a folded layer. Waiting, watching. Vorak's ship shook. Systems collapsed. His lights died. Then, from his window, he saw something that chilled him. A small human drone, floating just inches away, scanning him with a red light. We don't need to kill you, Cole said. But we want you alive. So you can carry a message. Vorak's voice trembled. What message? Cole's tone turned to steel. Humanity is not prey anymore. One by one, the raider ships were dragged into the larger human vessels, held by force fields and tractor locks. No more shots were fired. No more words. The Echo fleet vanished into folded space, gone without a trace. Only the small bait ship remained, slowly turning toward Earth's direction. Days later, across alien space, a video appeared on every major broadcast channel. It showed a dozen known pirate captains bound in gravity chains, bruised, silenced. Behind them stood Captain Rena Cole in full uniform. She said only one thing: we are done running. You hunt us, we erase you. Remember that. The feed cut. In the dark corners of the galaxy, alien empires held meetings. Some began building stronger walls. Others tried to contact Earth with peace offers. But the message had already spread. Humanity had changed. And the small, slow ship that once floated in the void? It was the start of everything. The pirates thought it was just one ship. They were dead wrong. Darkness stretched across the stars like an endless sea. In that silent space, a fleet of alien raider ships floated, still recovering from the shock of what had just happened. Half of their fleet was gone, and the ones who remained didn't understand how. Captain Vorak stared at the blinking lights on his control screen. He was still breathing hard, jaw tight, fists clenched. One human ship, he muttered. That's all it was. But he knew that was a lie. The old ship was bait. Behind it was something far more dangerous. Folded ships. Human stealth technology. Echo-class warships that moved like shadows and struck without warning. The command deck around him was tense. His crew avoided his eyes, afraid to speak. Many of them had seen friends disappear, vaporized in the blink of an eye. One of his officers finally spoke. Captain, we should leave this region. We weren't prepared for this. No, Vorak growled. We need answers. We need revenge. The officer hesitated. But sir, that human voice. That captain. She said this was a warning. Exactly, Vorak said. They wanted us to run, to be scared. We can't give them what they want. He leaned forward and tapped the screen. Focus all scans on that area. I want every trace of that ship. Every piece of energy. Every fold signature. We find out how they did this. Another crew member said quietly, "What if they're still watching us?" Vorak looked up sharply. "Then we'll give them a reason to fear us." Far across space, in a hidden command center on the moon of Talos 4, Captain Rena Cole stood at a large window. Behind her, holographic maps glowed. Small lights showed the movement of raider ships across the galaxy. Most were fleeing. But a few were not. "They didn't all run," said her second-in-command, Lieutenant James Rowe. "No," Rena said calmly. "Some are stubborn. They're scanning our trap zone again. Probably trying to figure out what happened." "Let them," she replied. "We'll make the second lesson even harder." James gave a dry smile. "The first one was already brutal." "They made the first mistake," Rena said. "They didn't respect us. Now they'll make the second." Back near the incident zone, one of Vorak's scout ships detected something. "Captain, there's a new energy reading. Small, weak. Near a debris field." Vorak walked quickly to the front of the bridge, on screen. The image showed a small object floating in the wreckage of a destroyed raider ship. It was round dark gray, no bigger than a cargo crate. It blinked softly. With a red light. "What is that?" Vorak asked. "No heat, no weapons. Could be a black box. Or a signal beacon." Vorak's eyes narrowed. "Bring it aboard." The crew hesitated. "Now." He barked. Minutes later, the small object was floating in their cargo bay. A team in. Protective suits stood around it, weapons ready. One of the engineers moved closer, scanning it. No traps. "It's just broadcasting a low-level signal," the engineer said. "Might be a message." "Play it," Vorak ordered. The engineer nodded and activated a screen dot at first. Nothing. "Just static dot," then came a voice. Calm. Familiar. "You didn't." "Listen." Vorak's face darkened. Captain Cole appeared on the screen, arms behind her back. Behind her stood one of the Echo-class warships, silent and terrifying. "You came back. You scanned our tech. You poked the shadows. Now the shadows poke back." The screen flickered and cut to footage. Not from human ships, but from the raiders. Own cameras. Somehow the humans had hacked into their data. It showed everything. Their panic, their failures, their deaths. Then her voice again. "You're not hunters. You're children with knives playing in a fire. And fire always burns." The message ended. The room went cold. How did they get into our files?" whispered the technician. "They knew everything we were doing." Another muttered "VORAK." Slammed his fist on the console. "I want a strike force ready." "Now." "Strike force?" a voice asked nervously. "To where?" "We follow the signal trail. That beacon is still transmitting. It came from somewhere. Wherever that is, that's where we hit back." "Captain," the lieutenant said carefully, "what if this is part of the trap? Then we spring it," Vorak snapped. "We can't run from shadows forever." The Raider Strike Force 5 ship Strong followed the signal deep into an asteroid cluster. The rocks floated in slow motion, cold and lifeless. Dust swirled in the low gravity. The signal was getting stronger. "Still no contact," said the pilot. "No ships detected. It's quiet." "Too quiet," muttered a gunner. Vorak leaned forward. "Bring us closer." As they moved deeper, the asteroids began to shift. Not naturally. They turned slowly on purpose. "Captain," said the navigator, "I think these aren't rocks. Some of them have metal." Suddenly, one of the asteroids unfolded. It wasn't a rock at all. It was a hidden turret. It fired. A massive energy beam sliced through space, hitting the lead raider ship. It exploded instantly. Ambush! Someone screamed, more turrets. Opened. Dozens. They were hidden inside hollow asteroids, waiting in silence. The raider ships spun, trying to dodge. They fired blindly, but the turrets were protected, shielded, hardened. And then the second surprise came. Real human ships jumped in from folded space. Smaller than the Echo class, but fast and armed. They didn't speak. They didn't hesitate. They attacked. Vorak's ship was hit in the side. Systems sparked. Shields failing. We're surrounded. Fold out. Fold out. We can't. They've locked the field. On the human side, Rena Cole watched it all from a safe distance. James stood beside her. You think he'll survive? I hope he does, she said coldly. The story spreads better if he does. You planned the signal beacon, didn't you? Of course, she replied. That was the second mistake. Greed. Back in the battle zone, only 2 raider ships remained. Vorax was badly damaged. Another had lost power completely. Prepare boarding teams. Rena said. An hour later, Vorak was dragged into a human ship. His hands were locked. His face was bruised. But his eyes were full of rage. Captain Cole walked in slowly. She didn't wear armor, no weapons. Just her uniform and calm eyes. Welcome aboard, she said. You tricked us, Vorak growled. No, she said. We warned you. You didn't listen. We're warriors, he said. We don't run. Then you'll die, she replied. He stared at her. Why let me live? Because fear spreads faster than fire, she said. And your people need to be afraid. She leaned in closer. Go back. Tell your kind, Earth is not weak. We're not prey. We just hid long enough to become something more. Vorak said nothing. Cole turned to leave. But before she exited, she paused. By the way, she said, that signal beacon? It wasn't just a trap. It was a test. He frowned. Test? To see if you'd take the bait again, she said. And you did. She walked away. Hours later, the remaining raider ship was allowed to escape, barely working, barely flying, but the message had been sent again, and this time, no one would forget the second mistake. Space was colder than usual, or maybe it just felt that way. Captain Growl of the raider ship Black Maw looked out at the endless black void. He rubbed his claws together and stared at the silent stars. Something didn't feel right. Not since the last mission. They say Vorak's fleet vanished. His first officer muttered. Gral didn't answer. They followed a human signal, and none of them came back. Only one half-burned ship drifted into pirate territory. The pilot had lost his mind. He just kept whispering. Shadows moved, and the dark was alive. I said enough. Growl growled. The officer fell silent. Everyone had heard the story. Echo-class warships. Human tech that could fold in and out of space. No engines. No trails. Just silence. And then death. Growl didn't believe in ghost stories. He was old school: smash, steal, and burn. But even he had noticed something strange. The trade routes were empty. Civilian ships were gone. Human colonies had gone dark, like they were hiding underground. It was like someone had warned them. They're not coming out, said the navigator. We've been scanning for hours, Growl squinted. They'll show. Humans always do. They pretend to be brave. They can't resist space. They always come back. He stood and walked to the main window. His ship floated at the edge of a gas cloud where sensors struggled. It was the perfect ambush spot. Behind him, 6 other raider ships waited silently, their engines cold, powered down to avoid detection. We wait. They'll pass through. And when they do, we hit fast and we hit hard. But something strange was happening. Their long-range scanners started blinking. Captain, said the technician, I'm picking up movement, but it's fading. No heat, no signal trail. Almost like it's not really there, Growl frowned. Explain. I don't know. It comes in for a second, then disappears, like shadows moving between the stars. Another officer added, "Could be scanner ghosts. Old systems play tricks sometimes." Grull didn't believe in ghosts, but something inside him felt cold. Few hours passed. Nothing changed. Space remained still. Too still. Then, out of nowhere, one of the 6 Raider ships lost power. Ship 4 just went dark. The comms officer shouted, "Why?" Grull barked. "No explosion. No weapon fire. No signal. It just stopped." Grull opened the link to Ship 4. No answer. "Zoom in," he ordered. The main screen blinked. The image focused on the missing ship. It floated motionless, lights off, no movement. Then, very slowly, something on the hull moved. "What is that?" Someone whispered. "A black shape. Long, thin, like a blade of metal crawling across the surface." Suddenly, the ship crumpled. Not exploded, crumpled. Like something outside squeezed the metal from all sides, and then it was gone. Crushed into a ball and pulled into the dark. "Open fire," Grull shouted. "On the area. Blast everything." The other ships fired there. Weapons. Plasma lit up the dark. Missiles exploded across the field. The gas cloud burned red and orange, but there was nothing to hit. Nothing on scanners. The officer shouted. Another ship blinked off the radar. No explosion, just vanished. "There. Picking us off." Someone yelled. "They're not ships," whispered the navigator. "There's something else." Grull stood frozen. Sweat rolled down his neck. His claws trembled. He turned to the technician. "Are you jamming the scans? Tell me this isn't real." "I swear, Captain, the system is clean. There's just nothing there." Then the lights flickered. Grull looked up sharply. "Power issues?" The engineer checked quickly. "No, all systems are fine." "Then why are the lights?" The ship went completely dark. Every screen shut off. Every light died. And then the voices came, not from the comms, not from speakers, out from inside the walls. Whispers, human voices, cold, flat, mechanical. "Didn't listen. Thought we were weak. You are prey," the crew screamed. Some ran. Others clawed at their ears. Grull growled. "Get the lights back, now." "Trying. I don't know what's wrong." The ship groaned, metal bent. Deck plates shifted. It was like something massive was crawling along the outer hull. Then bang, a sharp sound echoed through the ship, followed by another. And another, like claws tapping. Scratching. Gral grabbed his weapon and stormed down the hallway. "Arm yourselves. If they board, we fight." He turned a corner and saw nothing, just darkness. But from behind him, someone screamed. He spun around. His first officer was gone. Only his weapon remained, lying on the floor, still warm. The tapping grew louder, closer. The shadows in the hallway moved, not because of light, but because something inside them shifted. Shapes without faces, fast, thin, silent. He fired. His blast passed right through them. They didn't flinch. They didn't even slow. They just kept coming. In Earth's deep space command base, buried under layers of folded shielding, Captain Rena Cole watched the live feed. A team of engineers and analysts worked around her. "They're terrified," said James, standing beside her. "They should be," Rena replied. She pointed to the screen. "We didn't use ships this time, just shadow drones." James nodded. "The folding field is holding steady. The drones are moving in and out of phase perfectly. These raiders needed to see what it feels like to be hunted," she said. "They thought they owned the dark. Now they know." On the screen, the last raider ship was trying to flee, but its engines weren't responding. The shadow drones moved silently, attaching to the hull, slicing power lines, disabling systems without a single shot. No sound. No message. Just fear. "They'll spread the story," James said. "That's the goal," Rena replied. "Let the galaxy whisper. Humans don't chase, they haunt." Back aboard Black Maw, Growl huddled near the engine room, his weapon shaking in his claws. The whispers were everywhere now. One voice came louder than the rest. Growl. He froze. You left them to die. You called it leadership. You lied to your crew. No, he whispered. This isn't real. You're in my head. You made the first mistake. You made the second. Now you hear the truth. Suddenly, a screen came to life. It showed Captain Rena Cole, staring directly at him. No emotion. No smile, just cold eyes. Captain Growl, she said. Welcome to the dark, he shouted. Why? Why go this far? We were just pirates. You're humans. You used to beg for peace. No, she said. We begged for respect. You answered with blood. So now we answer with silence. The screen went black again. Then the lights turned on. Fully. No more whispers. No more shadows. Just quiet. Growl looked around. His crew was gone. He was alone. A voice on the com said calmly, Your engines are online. You are free to go. He hesitated. Why? So you can tell them, the voice replied. Tell them about the ghosts in the dark. Growl didn't speak again. He just ran. Weeks later, in a crowded alien bar, Growl sat in silence, drinking something strong, staring at nothing. A younger raider leaned close to him. You saw them, didn't you? The human ghosts? Growl didn't answer. They say it's just a story, the young one laughed. A trick to scare us. Growl slowly turned his eyes toward him. No story, he said. No trick. Then what is it? Growl whispered. It's the future. And it wears a human face. Captain Feroz of the Zarthax Raiders was not a fool. He had heard the stories. Human ships vanishing into folded space. Echo-class warships moving like shadows. Drones that whispered in the dark. He didn't believe them. He couldn't believe them. I've fought humans before, he said, standing tall on the bridge of his warship, Fori Talon. They bleed like anyone else. These stories are just fear, ghost tales. His officers exchanged quiet looks. They had also heard the rumors of Captain Cole and her hidden fleets, of ships that crushed raiders without a sound. Feroz slammed his fist on the console. Enough hiding. We go to the edge of human Sector 9. We find their patrols. We strike. Hard, fast, and we bring back proof that they are not gods. Just prey playing at being hunters. He leaned closer to the screen showing the star map. They want to play with fear? Fine, we show them we're not afraid. The fleet moved within. The Hour 8 Zarthax warships, heavily armed and battle-tested. Their target was a lonely asteroid belt on the edge of a human mining zone. Lightly defended, quiet, perfect, or so they thought. Captain Rena Cole stood inside a command room deep within the asteroid belt. Around her, holograms floated, maps, ship positions, fleet logs. She sipped black coffee as Lieutenant James Rowe entered, his boots echoing in the quiet chamber. They're coming, he said. How many? She asked. 8 ships, full assault formation. They think we're weak here. Good, she replied, setting down her cup. Let the trap begin. James tapped a button. The asteroid belt lit up on the hologram. Small human beacons hidden in the rock began activating quietly without noise, without visible light. They have no idea what they're walking into, James said. They still think we're fighting with just ships, Rena replied. But this time, we're using the terrain itself. She turned to the screen. This time, space fights with us. The Fori Talon and its sister ships arrived at the edge of the belt. Nothing moved. Scanners showed only floating rocks, some mining equipment, and a single human cargo ship drifting slowly near the center of the belt. There, Feroz pointed. That's our target. Should we scan deeper? His officer asked. No need, Feroz said. They didn't see us coming. We strike now. The fleet moved in, weaving through the asteroid field. Their engines were quiet but fast. They prepared weapons. Lock-on signals flashed red. Their claws were ready. The human cargo ship didn't respond. It didn't move. It didn't even send a distress call. Maybe it's a trap, the technician whispered. Furrows narrowed his eyes. If it is, we spring it. He opened comms to the human vessel. This is Captain Furrows of the Zarthax. Your ship is now ours. Surrender and we might let you live. No reply. Furrows nodded. Open fire. 3 raider ships fired at once. Plasma bolts raced across the belt and hit nothing. The human cargo ship shimmered, then disappeared like smoke in air. It was a projection, shouted the comms officer. FERO stood up. What? Suddenly, the asteroid field around them changed. Small rocks split apart. Panels opened. Hidden within the asteroids were turrets. Dozens of them. Not just guns, pulse mines, jamming beams, EMP cannons. Before anyone could react, the field came alive. Turrets began firing in perfect rhythm, disabling raider shields instantly. One ship was hit directly in its core. The lights went out. It spun slowly, helpless. They lured us in. Someone screamed. Pull back, Furrows ordered. Reverse engines, get us out. But their engines weren't responding. We've been hacked, the technician cried. Impossible. They planted data bombs through the signal. Our systems are locking down. And then the real ships appeared. Echo-class warships unfolded into space, as if born from the shadows. Silent, black, sharp as knives. They surrounded the Zarthax fleet like hunters circling prey. Furrows watched, frozen. How many? Too many, he clenched his teeth. They planned all of this. The signal, the cargo ship, even the field. One by one, the raider ships were taken out, not destroyed, but disabled. Clean shots to power cores. Engines shut down. Weapons melted from the inside. They didn't want to kill, they wanted witnesses. Furrows knew why. Humans weren't fighting with rage anymore. They were fighting with strategy. And cold calculation. Open a channel, Furrows said. A moment later, the main screen lit up. Captain Rena Cole appeared, arms folded behind her back. Captain Furrows, she said calmly. Welcome to your education. He tried to stay firm. You think this proves something? Yes, she replied. It proves we've evolved. You haven't. You think tricks make you strong? No, she said. Discipline does. Planning does. You charge in like beasts. We waited, we watched, and then we closed the door. Her eyes narrowed. You are standing in a trap that was built 5 years ago. We knew you'd come. We wanted you to come. Furrows looked at the blinking lights on his ruined console. All around him, his ships were being locked down. No explosions. No screams. Just silence. Why not kill us? He asked. So you can tell the story, she answered. So others like you will think twice. She leaned closer to the screen. Tell them Earth is not just ready for war. Tell them we've turned war into science. The feed ended. Hours later, only one Zarthax ship was left active. The Fury Talon. It drifted back toward alien space slow. Broken, humiliated. Inside, Furrows sat in silence, surrounded by flickering lights and wounded pride. His officer spoke softly. What do we do now? Furrows stared ahead. We stop underestimating humans. At a High Council meeting on the Zarthax homeworld, Furrows stood before the leaders. His armor was scratched, his voice tired. They didn't outgun us, he said. They outhought us. The chamber was quiet. They used our hunger. They used our habits. They used the space itself. They made us walk into our own grave. And what do you suggest now? Asked the council head. Furrows looked up, voice firm. I suggest we leave Earth alone. The room filled with murmurs. One elder asked, do you think they would leave? US alone? Furrows shook his head slowly. No, not anymore. They're not hiding, they're hunting. But they do not strike without reason. He paused. They set the trap. We triggered it. And we walked right in. Back in the human base hidden. In the asteroid field, Captain Cole watched the news feeds. Alien governments were pulling fleets back. Pirate networks were going quiet. Patrol routes were shifting away from human borders. James smiled. Looks like they finally understand. Rena nodded. They think we just got lucky. And we didn't? No, she said. We trained for this, we designed it. We waited years. And now they're starting to fear the one thing they never respected. James tilted his head. What's that? She looked at him calmly. Our patience. Space around Earth was quiet, too quiet. But that quiet wasn't peace. It was the stillness before something big. In a dark chamber, deep beneath the lunar defense base. A signal flashed red. It pulsed slowly at first. Then faster. Captain Rena. Cole stepped into the room, her expression calm, eyes sharp. Officers stood around the main table, staring at the signal. It's time, said Lieutenant James Rowe. The order just came in from High Command. Cole nodded once. Activate all Echo-class warships. There was a silence in the room, like everyone was holding their breath. They're really doing it? Whispered a young officer. No more hiding? No more hiding, Cole said. No more shadows. It's time the galaxy saw what Earth has been building. She looked at the glowing map. Red marks showed pirate zones. Blue showed known alien powers. A thin green line stretched through the middle. That green line was human space. For years, Earth had been watching, waiting, testing, and preparing. Now, it was done waiting. Far beyond Mars, hidden deep in folded space, the first Echo-class fleet. Waited. There was no sound, no visible hulls, no glowing engines. Just darkness. Cold, perfect silence, until the signal reached them. One by one, they came alive. No loud startup. No flashing lights. Just motion. Black ships, sharp as blades, unfolded. From the dark like creatures waking from sleep. Their hulls absorbed light. Their surfaces didn't reflect stars, they swallowed them. The ships looked like nightmares, but they were humanity's answer to the galaxy's cruelty. At the lead of Fleet Echo 1 was the warship Silent Verdict, the first of its kind, commanded by Admiral Harlan Vos, a man known for his cold logic and unbreakable will. He stepped onto his bridge, hands behind his back. Status, he said. All systems green. All ships ready, replied the AI. He gave one single word. Go. The fleet vanished into folded space. At the edge of a system controlled by the Korgari Union, a powerful alien alliance known for trading slaves and weapons, a merchant convoy. Drifted slowly, 6 large cargo ships, 3 patrol guards, and, hidden inside one of the containers, 47 human prisoners. The Korgari had been capturing colonists from the outer rings. They thought humans were still disorganized, still soft. They were wrong. A tiny, invisible drone floated past the convoy. Then another. Then 100. The patrol ships didn't notice. Their scanners saw nothing. But inside the command ship, something went wrong. Sir, systems are glitching, said a pilot. Target locks failing. Run diagnostics, replied the captain. Probably a software loop. But it wasn't software. It was war. In a single second, folded space tore open. The Echo-class warships appeared, not near, not far, but everywhere. At once, above, below, behind, surrounding, the Korgari. Captain opened his mouth, but the comms were already dead. Jammers, total blackout. The first strike came from Silent Verdict, a precision rail shot that shattered the lead. Patrol ships' engines without destroying the crew. One ship after another fell. No explosions. No fireballs. Only silence. Every weapon was shut down. Every engine frozen. Inside the prison containers, the humans felt the shaking stop. Then the locks on their doors popped open. The first thing they saw, dark armored soldiers with Earth flags on their shoulders. You're safe, said one soldier. Earth came for you. Back on Earth, The footage spread like wildfire. Alien stations across the galaxy watched in silence. As a secure message played on their screens, it showed the Echo fleet surrounding the Korgari ships. Showed the prisoners being rescued. Then came a voice, strong, calm, human. You took from us. You thought we would stay quiet. You thought wrong. The message ended with Earth's new seal, United Terran Defense Initiative, Echo Division. We watch, we wait. We strike. In the underground halls of the Grand Korgari Court, panic began. They attacked without warning. Shouted one minister. They bypassed all defenses. They folded inside our space. Said another. No one should be able to do that. They broke no treaty, said a quiet voice in the back. The room turned. Elder Drexus stood, slow and tired, but eyes full of fire. They warned us. Years ago, they begged for peace. We gave them chains. He raised a clawed finger. Now they've shown us what happens when humans stop asking. On a remote moon base near the edge of neutral territory, a group of pirates watched the footage. Silence filled the room. One of them finally said, "That can't be real. That kind of power, no race has that." An older pirate, missing an eye, stared at the screen. "They didn't build those ships to show off," he said. "They built them because we forced them to." He stood slowly. "If those Echo-class monsters are out there now, it means humanity's done talking." Back on the silent verdict, Admiral Voss stood in his command room, looking over a new set of coordinates. "We have 10 targets confirmed," the eye said. "All connected to illegal raids, slave networks, or human colony attacks." He gave a slow nod. "Prioritize systems with civilian risk. We hit fast. We leave nothing behind." The eye paused. "Admiral, public reaction has been mixed. Some alien powers are calling this human aggression." "Good," Voss replied. "Let them know fear." He turned away from the screen. "Let them feel what we felt when they burned our colonies, when they laughed at our diplomacy. Let them understand." In the shadows of deep space, the Echo-class warships moved without sound. They didn't wait for battles. They chose them. Every strike was precise. Every escape was impossible. Every survivor was allowed to live for one reason only: to spread the message. On an alien broadcast network, a famous host looked into the camera. "The humans have released a new class of warship. We don't know how many there are. We don't know where they keep them. But what we do know," he paused, voice trembling slightly, "is that every race who attacked them now lives in fear." He tapped the table gently. "They call it Echo Class. We call it the Ghost Fleet." Captain Rena Cole watched all of it from her command center, a quiet smile touching her lips. "They're starting to get it," James said beside her. "They're starting to understand," she replied. "But they haven't seen all of it yet." James looked at her. "There's more?" She nodded once. "We built those ships to protect Earth. But Earth isn't alone anymore. The colonies need us. The frontier needs us. The weak need us." She stared at the stars beyond the window. "And Echo Class is just the beginning." It started with a whisper, an old colony signal repeating itself after nearly 10 years of silence. "Help, please, Colony 312. Under attack." The message was weak, broken, like it had bounced through space too many times. Most wouldn't even notice it, but Earth noticed. And Captain Rena Cole didn't ignore such whispers. She stood in the war room of Lunar Command, arms crossed, watching the flickering screen. "This is real?" she asked. "Yes, ma'am," replied Lieutenant James Rowe. "The signal reappeared 17 minutes ago. It came from deep frontier space. Old mining colony, registered lost." Rena narrowed her eyes. "That colony was destroyed in a pirate attack." "Everyone said no one survived." James nodded. "That's what we believed, but the signal is on an old Terran military band. Only colonists would still use it." "Get me Echo Fleet," Rena ordered. We're not waiting for politics. Not this time. James looked at her carefully. You're thinking of activating it? Rena nodded. It's time for revenge protocol. Admiral Harlan Vos sat aboard the Silent Verdict, silent as always. When the signal came in, he didn't speak for a long time. Coordinates match. The cargo dust zone, his AI said. A lawless region. Known for pirate activity. Vos finally spoke, his voice flat. Prepare the protocol. Send the ghost fleet. The AI paused. Do you wish to request permission from Central Command? Vos stood, turning toward the dark stars beyond the screen. No, we gave them 10 years. They left those people for dead. I won't. Far across the void, near the edge of mapped space, Colony 312 was barely alive, what once had been a growing. Mining town was now a prison. Buildings were broken. Oxygen generators ran low. The sky was full of dust and darkness. An underground bunker. A small group of humans huddled. Their leader, a gray-haired man named Elias Ward, pressed the old radio button again. Anyone, please, we survived. They left, but they'll come back. We don't have much time. A young girl beside him looked up. Do you think anyone's listening? He looked down at her, voice gentle. I think they are now. In orbit above the dead world, 3 cargo raider ships floated silently. They had returned to finish the job, to loot the last equipment, maybe grab more prisoners. Their leader, Captain Dral Vox, sat in his command chair, smiling with sharp teeth. Hard to believe these rats are still alive down there, he said. A raider laughed. They must be eating rocks. No matter, Dral said. We kill the signal, destroy the base, and collect what we can. Humans don't scare me, not this far out. But then, something flickered on their radar. What's that? The sensor officer asked. Dral leaned forward. Show me. The screen showed nothing, then very slowly. A shadow, just 1, then 4, then 9. Echo-class warships unfolded into space without a sound. No engine glow. No warnings. Just presence. Echo-class. The officer screamed. Dral jumped up. Shields up, weapons hot. But nothing happened. Their weapons didn't respond. Their shields didn't rise. A cold voice came through the comms, calm, sharp. This is Admiral Vos, by Terran authority. Your crimes have reached their limit. Prepare for judgment. Dral shouted, run! Fold out now. But the engines wouldn't respond. One by one, the cargo ships were pulled apart, not destroyed with fire, but disassembled, piece by piece, by small autonomous drones swarming silently. It was not war. It was punishment. Inside the colony, the survivors heard the silence above. Then, a voice. Colony 312, this is Earth, we heard you. Tears fell silently across the room. They were no longer forgotten. On board the Silent Verdict, Admiral Vos stood before a screen. The protocol had worked. 3 raider ships gone. Colony 312 was safe. But something else caught his attention. Another signal, said the AI. This one is a trap. A trap? Vos asked. Yes, it mimics a distress call. But it's been looped. They want us to come. Vos nodded slowly. Prepare the fleet, he said. They want us to walk into a trap. Let's show them how humans spring it. In the Darnak system, the combined fleets of 4 pirate clans waited. 30 ships strong. They had heard of Earth's Echo-class attacks. They had seen the fear spreading. So they formed an alliance, and they planned revenge. We'll draw them in, said the pirate Lord Gathric, sharp-eyed and cruel. Make them think another colony's in trouble. Once they enter our system, we fold around them and crush them. Another pirate grinned. You think these humans will be so dumb? Oh, they'll come, Gathric said. Humans care too much. And they were right. The Silent Verdict arrived. Within the hour, but it did not arrive alone. It unfolded into space with 20 Echo-class warships. Yet Something was different. They didn't attack. They stopped. They floated. Why are they just sitting there? One pirate asked. Gathric growled. Maybe they're scared. Then the power on every pirate ship flickered. Lights blinked. Weapons refused to charge. And a message appeared on every screen. We knew this was a trap. You didn't know it was ours. Then the real Echo-class ships arrived. The ones already inside the system, disguised as asteroids, buried under moons, folded into dead space. The original fleet was bait. The pirates had walked into a circle, and it closed around them fast. Fires broke out. Engines died. Power cores melted down. One by one, the pirate ships went dark. Gathric screamed. How? How did they know? The comms opened. Admiral Voss appeared, calm. Revenge is not rage, he said. It's memory. You forgot your crimes. We did not. Gathric tried to speak, but the signal cut. His ship was gone a second later, back on Earth. Captain Rena Cole watched the report. Voss executed revenge protocol with precision, James said. Colony 312 is safe. The Darnax fleet is no more. She nodded. And the message? James smiled. Clear. Echo-class is not just for defense. It's a consequence. Rena walked to the screen showing deep space scans. More colonies are sending signals now, she said. Ones that never spoke up before. They're no longer afraid? James asked. No, she replied. Now they believe someone is listening. In a dark alien council chamber, several galactic leaders sat in silence. The humans have shown no mercy, one said. They have every right, another answered. They don't strike blindly, a third added. They follow rules, but those rules are cold. One leader stood. His voice was deep and thoughtful. This is not the old Earth. These humans remember everything, and they act on that memory. The others nodded. The galaxy was changing, and Earth was not asking permission. In a small medical station near the edge of neutral space, a young woman recovered. She had been rescued from Colony 312. Her body was bruised, her voice weak, but when she saw the Earth flag on the soldier's uniform, she whispered two words. You came. The soldier nodded. Always. Echo-class wasn't just a fleet. It was a promise. One Earth would never break again, not after what they had endured, not after what they remembered, because sometimes revenge was the only answer. The stars were quiet again, but it wasn't peace. It was fear. Every major alien power across the galaxy had received the same encrypted message from Earth. The file was clean. The signal strong. No virus, no trick. Just a simple label. The message. Some ignored it, some opened it, but none were prepared for what it said. Inside the grand hall of the Zenthari Empire, Emperor Virax paced slowly. The high nobles sat around him in silence. One of them whispered, You've seen the file, my lord? Yes, Virax said coldly. Earth has spoken. They threaten war? Asked a general. No, the Emperor replied. They offer warning. He pressed a button and the message played. Across the galaxy, screens came to life. On them stood Captain Rena Cole, not in uniform, but dressed in simple black. No symbols, no flags. Only her voice mattered. Her words were clear and calm. To the galaxy that once ignored our cries, this is Earth. You raided our colonies. You stole our people. You told us we were weak. You believed we were new to the stars. Easy to crush, easy to forget, but we do not forget. We remember everything. The screen showed images Earth cities, bombed by raiders, broken colonies, ruined outposts. Then came Echo-class ships, unfolding from darkness. We asked for peace. You gave us chains, so we changed. We built in silence. We trained in shadows. Now we do not ask. In the trade alliance, leaders argued. She threatens the entire galaxy. They're only striking back. But look at those ships. Look at what they've built. They earned the right to defend themselves. The room fell quiet again as the message continued. We will not conquer. We will not invade. But if you attack us. A pause, a deep silence, then. Her eyes narrowed. We will erase you. Aboard a pirate station near the border, loud laughter filled the hall as the message played. One old raider slammed his drink down and shook his head. That's just talk. No, it's not, said another. Didn't you hear about the Darnak's fleet? Gone, all of them. They're bluffing. Then you go test them. The laughter died quickly. On the silent verdict, Admiral Harlan Voss watched the message spread. Each system that opened it lit up on the map. One officer stepped forward. It's working, sir. Pirate movement has dropped by 60% across Echo-monitored space. Voss nodded. Fear is faster than fire. The officer hesitated. But some are rallying, angry. They think humans are trying to become rulers. Let them come, Voss replied. The ones who act on pride are always the first to fall. On a quiet planet in neutral space, an old alien named Colton sat in his repair shop. He'd lived through 5 wars, seen planets burn, watched empires fall. His grandson played the message again. Are they really that strong? The boy asked. Colt and nodded. They're not strong because of their weapons. Then why? He stared at the screen. Because they remember. And because now they believe in themselves. Back on Earth, Rena Cole stood at the edge of the military briefing room. James Rowe stood beside her, watching the live feed from alien networks. We've seen thousands of responses, he said. Some fearful, some furious, but no one is ignoring us anymore. Rena nodded. Good, that was the point. She turned to the room full of commanders. All wore serious faces. Some had fought in the old wars. Some were new. All understood the weight of this moment. She stepped forward. For too long, Earth waited, she began. Waited to be respected. Waited to be seen. She held up a small device and tapped it. The wall screen showed maps, each red dot a world where humans had once suffered in silence. We're not just defending Earth now, she continued. We're defending every colony, every survivor, every voice that was ignored. She pointed to the Echo-class fleet logs. From now on, anyone who dares attack us will meet the Ghost Fleet. We don't need numbers. We need precision. James added, and they'll never know when Echo is near, because Echo doesn't chase. He smiled faintly. Echo waits. In the halls of the Tharn Confederacy, panic took hold. They had once raided 3 human trade convoys. Now their leaders begged to open peaceful talks. A human diplomat arrived quietly, escorted by 2 dark-armored soldiers. He said only one thing. You have 30 days to make things right, or Echo will visit. On a station above a red moon, a strange message reached a group of ex-mercenaries. It was a single line of text. You stole children from Port Harlan. Return them, now. They laughed until one of their ships disappeared. The next night, no sign, no noise, just gone. They returned the children the next day, but not everyone feared the message. Some saw it as a challenge. In the heart of the Zyran Dominion, a brutal warlord named Mackle stood before his fleet of 50 ships. They think fear makes them powerful, he growled. Let's see if they can stand when someone hits back harder. His fleet launched that same week, headed straight for a Terran outpost near the outer rim. The outpost was quiet, unarmed, just a mining relay, and a few supply transports. Easy prey. They arrived quickly. No resistance. Makel grinned. Pathetic. Then, his second-in-command ran in. Sir, there's a problem. Our ships aren't moving. What? Engines are locked. Weapons too. How? Then the lights flickered, and a calm voice filled every ship. You ignored the message. Mako ran to the window. The sky unfolded like a black flower, Echo-class ships, surrounding, waiting. He shouted, "We surrender!" "I surrender," the voice replied. Too late. 10 seconds later, his fleet was gone. In every system, every spaceport, every council hall, the galaxy now whispered the same words. Earth sent a message. Some called it a warning, some called it a threat, but everyone knew the truth. It was a line, a final line. Cross it, and Echo would come. Captain Rena Cole sat alone in her office, watching the stars from orbit. James entered quietly. "We've confirmed at least 7 old enemies are reaching out for peace talks." Rena didn't look away from the stars. "They don't want peace," she said. "They want time to rebuild. Time to try again later." James nodded. "So what do we do?" She turned finally, eyes calm but sharp. "We make sure the message is never forgotten." And so the message echoed across systems, through space, into every dark corner where evil once hid. Voice once silenced had now become a storm. And it said clearly, "We are human, we remember, and we are not afraid anymore." The galaxy thought it had learned everything about Earth. They had seen the Echo-class warships. They had witnessed silent strikes, smart traps, and fearless rescues. They believed they now understood human limits. They believed the humans were done. They were dead wrong. Near the edge of known space, in a dark and distant system called Varnax Reach, something terrible was gathering. It started as strange signals, energy spikes, warped gravity, vanishing probes. Then came a scream through space cut off halfway. A science vessel from the United Planets Alliance disappeared without a trace. No wreckage. No distress call. Just gone. The last word from the crew. Something's opening. On board the silent verdict, Admiral Harlan Voss reviewed the report. James Rowe had personally brought it. "This is different," James said. "Not pirates, not empires. Something old." Voss stared at the screen. "No enemies on radar, no debris field. And gravity readings off the charts? Almost like space is tearing itself open," James said. Voss nodded slowly. "Something is waking up." James swallowed. "Command wants us to observe." "Observe?" Voss asked coldly. "Not act? They think we're overreacting." Voss turned away. "They thought the same when we first warned them about the raiders, and they were wrong." He walked to the command chair. "Prepare all Echo-class ships. Full force. We're going to Varnax Reach." In the deepest part of the Varnax system, a massive object moved between stars. Not a ship. Not alive. Something else. Like a fortress, built by no hand that should ever exist. Its surface pulsed with strange symbols, glowing in colors that hurt the eyes. Inside, a voice echoed. Not spoken. Heard. But felt. "The flame rises again. Let the stars break." Admiral Voss and the Echo fleet arrived at the edge of the system. Instantly, every system on the silent verdict screamed warnings. "Sir, gravitational pressure is rising. Communications jammed. Unknown signal trying to infect the core systems." The screens flashed static, then shaped shadows moving in impossible ways. "What is that?" James asked. Voss didn't answer. He stared at the structure ahead. "It's not a weapon," he finally said. "It's something much worse." From the black structure, dozens of strange ships emerged. But these weren't normal ships. They didn't burn fuel. They drifted unnaturally. Their surfaces looked like metal and bone mixed together. And when they moved, they didn't glide, they twitched. One soldier whispered, "Are those alive?" "They're not alive," Voss said. "They're infected." The ships came faster now, closing in without a sound. "They're not sending messages," James said. "They're not trying to communicate." "They don't need to," Voss replied. "This is a purge." The Echo fleet moved instantly. Stealth hulls activated. Smart weapons loaded. Drones launched. But the first wave was brutal. The enemy ships didn't care about shields or strategy. They crashed straight into Echo cruisers, tearing through hulls like paper. One Echo ship vanished in a silent burst of white light, no explosion. No fire. Just erased. They're folding space inside our ships. An officer shouted, "They're rewriting physics." Another yelled. Voss stood tall. "We've trained for raiders, tyrants, liars. But this is the unknown." He slammed his fist on the console. "Switch to Protocol Zero." James looked shocked. "We never used that. It's just a theory." "Not anymore." Protocol Zero was humanity's final defense, something designed in secret, built only in simulations. It connected every Echo-class ship together into one living machine, thinking, reacting, evolving as a single unit. All at once, the fleet moved as one. Turrets aimed without orders. Missiles split into tracking clouds. Hulls reshaped in real time. And for the first time, the strange enemy hesitated. "They're adapting," James said. "Just like we do." "No," Voss corrected. "We're outthinking them." A giant enemy vessel drifted forward twice the size of any Echo ship. It opened slowly, revealing a black core that pulsed with heatless light. "Weapons charging," said an officer. "Unknown energy type. Nothing we can block." Voss narrowed his eyes. "Then don't block it. Outrun it." The entire Echo fleet folded mid-battle, vanishing, repositioning behind the enemy in less than a blink. They struck the core before it could fire. The monster screamed, not with sound, but through space itself. Then it exploded, ripping a hole. In reality, stars blinked, time twisted, but the Echo fleet held firm. "We lost 3 ships," James said quietly. "We saved everything else," Voss replied. "Back on Earth, Command watched the live feeds in horror. "That was no empire," one general said. "That was something old. Something forgotten." Rena Cole stood silently. "No," she said. "It wasn't forgotten. It was buried." She turned to the map, and something dug it up. Back in Varnak's Reach, the structure began to collapse, pulling its ships back like broken pieces. But one final signal burst outward. A warning, a name in a language no one remembered. "The hollow flame rises again." Voss stood at the edge of the bridge, watching the last of the enemy vanish. "We won," James said. Voss didn't move. "No," he said. "We survived." A week later, the galaxy met an emergency council. Aliens who once feared Earth now begged for help. Rena Cole stood in the center of the Grand Hall, surrounded by species that had once mocked humanity. "You said we were too small," she began. "You said we were weak." She looked each of them in the eye. "You were dead wrong." She showed the footage, Echo-class ships fighting monsters born from forgotten stars. She told them about Protocol Zero. She told them about sacrifice. And then she said something that shook the room. This wasn't the end. It was the beginning. "There are more out there." Silence fell. "We are not asking you to follow us," she said. "But if you want to live, learn from us." Echo-class fleets now patrol deep space, not as conquerors, not as peacekeepers, as watchers. Because Earth understands something the rest of the galaxy forgot. The real enemy is not greed, not war, it's forgetting what hides in the dark. And Earth never forgets.